Welcome to Mercer University, to the Stetson Hatcher School of Business. I apologize you're getting me on a recording today. I know some of you are using this, you're doing your virtual orientation today. Some of you are in Macon, and we actually have executive education this whole week. And so we're actually in Atlanta. So I've got John Wilson Gordon next to me. I always call him the evil one. I get to be the fun one for you for the next 4 years. But needless to say, one is welcome, and two is our doors are always open. We are not one of those universities that you don't walk in, you can't talk to administration because we're the principal's office. We're not. We're here to help you. And so, with that being said, today you're going to get a lot of information, but needless to say, they don't like me to share it. I'm too long-winded and I talk too much. So with that being said, now John Wilson would be much better at it than me. But where we're at is Donna Terrell and Ashley Herman are going to be giving you a wealth of information about everything you need to know. But I get to give you the rules. I have just a few rules, and we'll see if John Wilson wants to add anything to it in a minute. But one is, and this is for your parents too, know that you cannot go home once you start until after parent weekend. If you go home for Labor Day, that's okay. Outside of that, you cannot go home. Why is that? It's because during the week, you're doing all of the academics. If on that weekend you go home, because many of you live close enough to drive, we know that. Now, some of you on this virtual one, we know you're a plane flight away. There's no problem. We get that. But we're talking to everyone else. But that's when you get to build those friendships. I always say my son actually went to Mercer. Our house was 70 miles from campus. He did not come home. He still has friends. And that's now 7 years or 8 years later that he met that first month, that first 6 weeks. That's when you find and you get to meet those people that you're going to click with. Rule number 2, you need to ask early and ask often. What does that mean? That means nothing is out of the question to get help for. You look at yourself as an adult. I get it. I ask questions all the time. That is not thinking that you're not adulting by asking help. Sometimes that might be roommate situation. That might be, I'm really homesick. I'm used to my mom's cooking. Whatever that is, it could be that difficulty with that faculty member that you're just not clicking. You clicked with every faculty member you've ever had in high school, and you just aren't clicking with that. Ask it. You are going to be spread around, surrounded with different people. You're going to have a peer advisor that's just a year ahead of you. You're going to have a faculty member that you do not have class with. You're going to have your new Mercer mom, Donna Terrell. You've got both of us. You've got lots of us to ask questions. So ask it often. You get struggling in that class. John Wilson Gordon gets them all the time. You're struggling in econ. Don't wait. Come in and ask us. We can get you help. We can give you tools. A lot of you, it's time management. The other rule, you're going to take a light load this semester. Parents, I promise you, they will catch up later. They can be under 13, 14 credit hours for this semester. You are adjusting to life. You're adjusting socially so much. What we don't want is to have the academic and the social at the same time that you're struggling with it. And so with what we're at is you'll make up for it. Again, I'm going to use my kid. My kid ended up a double major in computer and electrical engineering with a minor in math. By the way, we didn't even know that. That wasn't in our vocabulary when we were in orientation, just like you right now. He finished in the 4 years on time. All right. Many of you will look at it. My son, I have 2 only children. He was an adult. He's had business tax returns since he was 13. He will tell you he grew up so much that semester. So even if you believe you're an adult or your parents and that kind of thing, Just no, this is that adjustment period. Enjoy it. The great part of Mercer is there is clubs and things for everyone. Go to a lot of them. Find where you click in. Find those things. There's lots of things within the school, outside of the school. I'm assuming, especially on this virtual one orientation that may be watching, a lot of you might be athletes. You still need to find a safe place to complain about coaches, is what I always say. And don't worry, I tell your coaches this too. But that's the thing you need to look for and have. Commuters. If I got any commuters on here, one, you should have commuted and came to an in-person orientation, but we understand. But if you didn't, buy a lunch plan, buy a meal plan. You need to be on this campus doing everything except for sleeping. That's it. Everything else, you should be here. And so those are kind of my tidbits of advice. I'm actually never introduced myself. I'm Julie Petherbridge, the Dean for the Stetson Hatcher School of Business. Many of you have met me on visits and things like that. And now I'm going to pass it to my counterpart for a second.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stetson Hatcher School of Business. We're so glad to have you as part of our family, and we're really excited about getting going with you in the fall. My name's John Wilson Gordon. I'm the Director of Operations for Dean Petherbridge here in the business school in Macon. So when you think about that, you think of everything that you do in your day-to-day, right? From scheduling to grievances to problems with textbooks, mentoring, advising, you name it, career services, that falls under me and my team. So at the end of this presentation, Miss Donna and Miss Ashley will put up a slide with both the dean and myself, and both Ashley and Donna's contact information. Moms, dads, parents, family members, students, please take down that information. Please take a good long look at that slide. Take a picture if you need to, because ultimately we're here for you and we want to make this the best 4 years of your life. So please don't hesitate to reach out for anything. We've done wellness checks with MERPO before. We know all the coaches because we have so many athletes in our business school and we love our athletes. We've helped from financial aid, financial planning, bursars, because odds are if we don't know the answer, we probably know who does and can get you in the right direction. So please don't ever feel like there's a question that's out of our purview or out of our territory or we can't help you with. And again, we're so glad to have each and every one of you and looking forward to a great 4 years.
Yep, and welcome to Mercer.
So first, to let you guys know, I think you've caught on to the hint of we're doing 2 orientations at one time today. We are masters at multitasking. So we have a team member over behind this family right here, Eric's family, who's going to be recording. So that way we can use this for our virtual orientation as well. We'll close it at the end after for the questions, so that way you guys can ask questions.
All right, you ready? All right. Good morning and welcome to Mercer University. My name is Donna Terrell and I'm the academic advisor for the business school here at Mercer. We are so glad that you could join us virtually today for orientation. We have a lot of great information about the business school, about our curriculum, about all the wonderful opportunities that you're going to have while you're here at Mercer. So we hope that you will take the time to watch the entire presentation, and then later in the day you will be meeting virtually with someone from the business school to go over your schedule and to go over your academics. So again, welcome, and we look forward to working with you. All right.
Hello, virtual orientation. My name is Ashley Herman, and I get the opportunity to serve as the career coach for the business school. So we are very excited that you're joining us virtually, and some of you will get to meet with me for your advising appointment as well.
All right, so let's get started. So in the business school, there are 3 words that I think kind of sum up how we approach the 4 years of your college experience. Focused, purposeful, and empowered. I use those first 2 words a lot when we talk about advising and curriculum. Everything you take, we take for a reason. It's either checking a box or exploring. So everything is very purposeful, and we are very focused on you, the student. We say here that you are not a number, you are a name. Every single one of you is different, and so every path that you take will be a little different, and we are going to empower you to take ownership of the next 4 years of your life. We define purpose as where passion and skills collide. And we do a lot of discussion about that the first 2 years that you're here. I love what I do. She loves what she does. I want you to love what you end up doing as your career, plural, as much as we love ours. But you need to be good at it. And so what are the skills that you have naturally? What are the skills that you can obtain over the next 4 years that are going to make you successful as you follow your passion? So in order to do that, it's a journey. It's going to be a 4-year journey, all right? And we'll go into detail a few minutes from now how that journey actually plays out year after year. It takes a team. It takes a plan. It takes a team. What is the first member of the team? Who's the first member? You are. Okay? So, last month, you walked across the stage, you got a high school diploma. Yay, high school graduate. Today, you receive your first college schedule. Today, you become college freshmen. Be kind to mom and dad, that's a hard day. But I need you to start thinking, I am in college. I am a college freshman. Now, COVID kind of did a number on a lot of us. I had a child that was in school during COVID. COVID's over. And Mercer made a commitment. We opened our doors in August 2020 and had everybody in these classrooms. And we've not looked back. We haven't lowered our standards. We haven't dumbed things down. Mercer University is a challenging university. We're going to push you. We're going to challenge you. And that's exactly what mom and dad want, because they're paying for a diploma and they want that diploma to mean something for the rest of your life, and it will. But students, you have to take the initiative, just like the dean talked about. If you are struggling in a class, if you are struggling to get along with your roommate, if you don't know how to handle a situation, you have to take the lead. You have to reach out. You have to speak up, okay? Academic advisor, that's me. You've already met me. Mentor faculty member, because I do the advising. Everywhere else on this campus, faculty members are advisors. I am the only academic advisor on this campus, that's all I do. Because our faculty don't have to do advising, they get to be mentors to you. What does that look like? I have students that will come to me and say, I'm a marketing major. Do I need to go get a master's degree? And if so, where do I go do that? I don't know the answer to that, but your mentor does. Because your mentor is you get your mentor at the end of your sophomore year when you've declared your major. So your mentor will be a faculty member in your discipline of study. And they will have great contacts for job opportunities. They will have great wisdom, even about what electives do I take for my major. So they're a very important part of the team. And then Miss Ashley is our career coach. And she's right here, so lucky to have someone that is only focused on the business school. And so she is on the second floor of Stetson every day, day in, day out. We don't have her Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then she's off somewhere else on Tuesdays and
The way I like to look at it is your faculty members have a pulse and know their industries very well. I am not an accountant. You don't want me being an accountant or advising you on anything accountant related. But I have my pulse on hiring trends and on newest technologies and in hiring and employment and career as a big picture. So our powers combined between the academic side, the industry side, and the career side, you have that full team wrapped around you to help guide either changes in what you're interested in, kind of confirming what you're interested in, and building your portfolio and being able to articulate to employers why you'll be a benefit to their organization when you leave this wonderful institution.
All right, so first year, you're now first year students. That's what we call you, first year. You are admitted to the business school from day one. why does that matter? What do you mean by that? Well, I pick on a school up the road because I have a diploma on my wall from them. They have a pretty good football team. You do not set foot in their business school until your junior year, if you get accepted into their business school. So, the fact that you belong to me from day one, I have seen all your profiles. Today's a fun day because I get to put names and faces together for the first time. So you get to be advised by a business advisor. There are going to be history majors on this campus that for the first 2 years, their academic advisors are going to be psychology majors. Now they're going to be fine. They know how to do that, but you're just part of the team. You're part of the family from day one. UNB 101 is a class that everyone's going to see on their schedule. Every incoming freshman takes this course. This is that intro to college course. I think every university has it now. You will be taught by a business professor. If you have indicated an interest in a specific major, anybody in here put a specific major on their profile? What'd you put? Business management. So you will be with Dr. Adair, who is one of our management professors, okay? So you get to be, and then everyone in your freshman class that is interested in management or entrepreneurship or supply chain management, y'all are all going to be together in the same UNB 101 class. And then you're going to have a peer advisor. We're a peer, well, you're a peer advisor. So all the people you see running around today in the black shirts, they are our peer advisors. And so they will be in class with us every week. Every day that we have class, they will be with you. These are upperclassmen. I've been promised that all my PAs this year will be business majors. See, that's going to be on tape. And so these are people that, you know, are literally a year or 2 or 3 years ahead of you. So they've been exactly where you're at. They've been freshman business majors. They've taken Econ 150 with Dr. Lynch. They've already survived Accounting 204. And so they are great resources for you guys to reach out to. And then you get to take business courses early in your career. Most of you will take a business course this fall. If you don't take it this fall, everybody will take one this spring. So we jump on that really, really quick. So what are you going to see today? Number one, I did every schedule in this room except for my athletes, but I had input. So I've seen everything. Most schedules are going to have 13 to 14 hours unless you did not indicate that you were bringing any transfer credits in, and then you have to be in at least 15 hours to stay on track to be a sophomore at the end of this first year. Little caveat, we've learned the hard way this summer. The information that I used to build your schedule was the information that you gave me on your profile. So we had a student come in last week and he said, 2 of the classes on my schedule I'm bringing in for AP credit. I pulled his profile, I said, you didn't tell me that. If you didn't tell me, I don't know, okay? So this is our first look at the schedule. We will look again in August when you come back. Students, on your handout, you have information about what time your advising appointment is, who your advising appointment is with, and what room. All those rooms, it's either going to be Ms. Herman, and you're not doing today. It's either going to be Jacob and myself, which will be right down here, or Dr. Sargent, who's across the way. Moms and dads, I have an ask. I have an ask and a gift. All right, because your children are becoming college freshmen today, they need to come to their first advising appointment alone. Okay? Here's my gift. That's my big ask. Here's my gift. I make sure that all of our appointments are done by lunchtime. That way, when you get back together with your child at lunch and you look over the schedule, if you have concerns and questions, my door will be open this afternoon after lunch, and all of you can come by and we'll sit down and talk through it. Okay? So, don't go to the advising appointment. Let them do this. We're all friendly, none of us fight, I promise. And then if y'all need to come back, you can come back after lunch and we'll look at everything together. We've already talked about UMD 101, INT 101, or Great Books 101, or religion. Most everyone in here will see one of those on their schedule. Let me talk about INT 101. The course is called Understanding Self and Others. Wow, how wonderful. We're gonna understand ourselves and people around us. That's so great. No, this is English composition. This is your writing course. This is your reading course. This is a difficult course. Some of you are thinking, oh, but I did English composition AP. I did dual enrollment. I don't have to worry about that. Not true. Most of you will still have to take this course. The Mercer University rule is, in order to get out of INT, well, you actually get credit for INT 101 from your transfer credit. In order for your transfer credit to come in as INT 101, you must satisfy two things. You must bring in at least 30 hours, and you must bring in 2 English courses. So if you don't meet both of those criteria, you're going to see INT 101. If we put you in INT 101 and then next month all your credits come in and you meet the criteria, the registrar's office will literally unregister you from INT 101, send me a note and say, hey, I took this person out because their transfer credit satisfied 101. So we will catch it if somehow it slipped through the cracks. If you don't take INT 101, I try to have you in a religion course. Religion is taught as historical literature. This is not Sunday school, okay? This is not theology. This is a hard course. This is also a writing course. This is why we try not to put them in the same semester. CSC 125, Intro to Computing, the one and only course I will ever call easy on this campus. Now, I've had students tell me that they have found other courses that they think are easy, but I'm telling you from my standpoint, this is the only one I dare call easy. Intro to Computing is Microsoft Office at an intermediate level. So it is Word, PowerPoint, Excel. That said, I've had people fail this course because they did not go to class. The class is designed in such a way that if you do not go to class, you will fail the course. So you gotta go to class. Econ 150 or 151 in math. Let's talk about math for a minute. Students, if you'll turn to the second page of your handout, you have some specific information about math placement. Here's how math works. Number one, we do math in the business school. Engineering majors think we don't, but surprise, we're handling money and stuff, like we do numbers. So everybody has to have statistics, intro to statistics. So you bring that in, AP dual enrollment, great. If you don't, you're going to take it. Maybe in the spring of your freshman year, possibly in the fall of your sophomore year, it kind of depends. Everyone has to either take or place out of pre-cal. If you submitted your test scores, number one, thank you. We use those test scores to calculate your math placement. I know some of you, how many of you took the math placement this morning? I know you did. What a terrible way to start your day. I know. So congratulations for doing that. You did very well, by the way. I saw your scores, so congratulations. I haven't looked at the other scores. So we will use the math placement scores now to know where your placement is. If you did not send your scores and didn't take the placement exam, it's not too late to send your scores if you took your test, okay? We need those scores to know where to put you. So and y'all can see the information, there are cutoffs below a certain number. You have to take Math 101. Within a certain range, you have to take Math 131. Anybody in here thinking about majoring in economics? Okay, so here's the great news. No one in this room has to take calculus because the only people in the business school that have to take calculus are economics majors, okay? So if you wanted to do it for fun, the dean would tell you to do it. I actually did take calculus for fun in college. I was just weird that way, but I was an accounting major at that point in my life. So, all right, so Econ 150 or 151, many of you will see, you have to do both, micro and macro. Many of you will see this on your schedule today. In order to be eligible to take this, you have to have a certain math placement. So if I don't have your math placement yet, I can't register you for Econ 150. So that's why some of you don't see any of that on there. And then lastly, general education. This is where I actually used your profile. So if you said, I'm interested in ethics, I tried to put you in an ethics course. If you said, I'm interested in theater, I put you in a theater course. We have people all the time that are like, do I really have to take this? Like, I don't want to take this. Why am I in this? And I'm like, because you put it on your profile. You said you wanted to take it. Oh, I did? Yes, you did. I put you in.
Mom did.
Maybe. I don't know. All right, next one. Sophomore year. Sophomore year is a great year. Sophomore year is the year of exploration. So, whereas in your freshman year, you're probably only going to do Econ 150, 151, in the sophomore year, you're going to do financial accounting, managerial accounting, business law, principles of finance, principles of marketing, and principles of management. No, I'm not trying to torture you, although it'll feel that way some days. But at the end of this year, you need to make a very big decision. When you come in for advising that last semester, I'm gonna look at you and say, hi, what's your major? And we need to have an answer or find an answer. And so how do you know if you want to major in marketing if you've never taken marketing? How do you know, I have people all the time say, I want to major in finance. And then they take finance and they're like, maybe not a major. So that's the goal for sophomore year, is to get through all those intro courses and to take the course that Ms. Herman and I co-teach, Business 202. I do the academic side of that class. She does the career part of that class. So, and I know we're running short time, so I'm gonna, all right. Junior, senior year, fun. I love my juniors. Junior year is like the best, because you got college figured out, you got your major figured out, but you're not really dealing with the real world yet. So you're just in a sweet spot. So I love junior year. We do a lot of major coursework. Everybody's going to have to do an experiential component, which we'll talk more about later in this presentation. And either in the spring of your junior year or fall of your senior year, you're going to take what will be the favorite course for every mom and dad in this room. Business 302, Professional Development Implementation. This is where we get your resume shipshape, you get your LinkedIn account, you do really serious interviewing skills, networking skills. Our goal is that when you come home for Christmas break, your senior year, you are ready to look for a job. Because as much as they love you, and I've just been here, they love you, but no one wants their child moving home and sleeping on the couch after 4 years of college, right? So we want to get them a job, and we will get them a job. So it takes focus. Focus is your major. And to be honest, most of you in here, even if you aren't bringing any transfer credits in, you are going to have time to do both a major and a minor. Our majors, we have minors for every major that we offer. We have very traditional majors like accounting and marketing and management and economics and finance. And then we have unusual majors like sports marketing and analytics and entrepreneurship, and our newest major, which is supply chain management, international business, and accounting. All of these have minors. So a lot of my accounting majors minor in finance. A lot of my marketing majors minor in management, if they don't double major. The one thing that we have only for a minor, and I don't think it's up here, I thought he moved it, but I don't see it at all, is our risk management and insurance. That is a minor only, and it's not a major. So, all right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to go check on.
Okay, So you've caught on that I get to deal with the career side. I want to let you in on my definition of career, or that next step, whatever word you want to use, is probably a lot more broad than you'd think. Career for some of us is going to mean getting a job after graduation. For some of us, it's going to be continuing your education. I've actually met with a lot of pre-dentistry. Do we have any pre-dentistry students today? I met with 3 already for oftentimes I have pre-med. That's why I love the business school, is because you guys are so diverse and you can go so many different ways. I have pre-law, I have pre-med. My favorite is the accounting student that's going to become, plans, would like to be a Catholic priest. Yeah, so lots of different paths that you can explore. And he would tell you that's not the path he was expecting to explore after graduation. So open yourself up to be surprised. And that's when the fun starts for me. And so we talked, Mrs. Terrell shared with you, it takes a team, right? It takes a plan. That's that academic check sheet that you'll go over with your advisor in just a moment. But it also takes experience. And so experience is not just in one class, one internship. It's embedded and really ingrained in everything you'll do. Not only in the classroom, not only the classes that we're about to look at and kind of explore, but it's in your clubs and organizations. It's in being a PA. It's in the filming that you're doing for us right now. It's great experience to add to your portfolio, by the way. So this will be ingrained throughout your entire experience. But because it's so embedded in your experience, we become blind. It is amazing to me how many students get an experience like Jacob had, right? Well, Jacob earlier on today told us about how he just did a competition and won first place in the competition of over 60 different schools and teams. And it's amazing how many students we send to these competitions, internships, in these year-long courses, and then I get their resumes and they say, I have no experience, I'm just an athlete. False. Don't tell me that if you're an athlete, I will get very excited. So I get to come alongside you and say, well, what about this? What about this? And then suddenly we start to sift through the dirt and see all those experiences that were hiding in that class that you thought you were just having to do for credit, okay? So let's talk about some of the ways you're gaining those experiences, okay? So one of those being every one of our majors, the dean has tasked those faculty to actually create a course that has an experiential component to it. So one of those that we love to talk about is our Student Managed Investment Fund. Our students are actually managing over $1 million of the university's endowment through an investment portfolio. So they get to do all the research, they get to do the proposal, they get to do the entire shindig. And my favorite part is they have to sit down with the trustees at the end of it and explain how they spend our money. Great opportunity there. And so this is a really great, there's another class where our faculty members actually have students learn about personal finance, and then their end of the year exam is actually going out and finding other students on campus and teaching them those skills. So you already had a client, see that? And we're gonna learn about some of those other classes as well, where you get to do those, take on this practice in a safe place. The dean will say, this is your safe place to fail. This is an opportunity to explore. This is an opportunity, Jacob was actually telling us earlier that the competition he was at, that I'm going to highlight in just a second, was accounting. He's sports marketing. I love that. The great thing about business is a lot of us think of accounting, marketing, right? They're different. There's no overlapping skills. False. Because can an accounting firm like EY function without a marketing team? No, absolutely not. My favorite example of this is we actually had the Chief Operating Officer and the lead executives of City for Hope up in Atlanta, formerly Cancer Research Centers of America. They were here and talking to us, and one student raised her hand and said, I have nothing in common with you, I'm studying marketing. And he said, my marketing budget is over $60 million, right? So it's in everything, there's so much overlap. One of those experiential courses that we have specifically for marketing, actually 2, we have two brands that are a part of Mercer. So they're Mercer brands that students run, and they are a year-long course. You get to choose one of these two courses, one of the paths that you would like, and you would choose either Traffic Jam, which their whole purpose is to actually drive out and educate students on the signs for sex trafficking. And so there's several different parts of that program. Another one is actually MWay. MWay has multiple components, but ultimately it is working with women who are survivors of the Rwandan genocide. And they actually help go to Rwanda and teach them entrepreneurial skills for our Mercer on Mission that we'll talk about in just a minute. But the MWay class, that is a year-long class, they are actually bringing back these products. Did you go on? Did anyone go on Mercer on Mission? Did you go on Mercer?
I went to Rwanda.
This year?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many different luggage, like you guys brought back a lot of luggage
A
of
lot.
product.
A lot.
Yeah, so like part like mule bringing back luggage of product that they are actually gonna spend the next year selling. Everything from doing market research on what types of bags are most likely to sell, to actually taking them to market. So it's the whole life cycle of a brand that you get to be a part of. Really great. I'll let you talk about Mercer on Mission in just a second. Another great class, we've talked about sports marketing. Our sports marketing majors are actually working with both golf and our baseball or youth football. Not football yet, we're not working with you yet, but we're working on it, okay? We're working with our golf and our baseball teams to be able to take large scales of data and be able to help their coaches be able to understand that data and use that in their coaching. So really great experience. We have students that go on from this program and work for the Hawks, work for the Braves, you name it. So there's a lot of really great opportunities there. Entrepreneurship is one of my favorite majors. I don't think I'm supposed to have favorites, but it is because of its overlapping nature and all the different. This is one of our most common minors. So this is a really common minor for any major, an opportunity to get that exposure into many different areas. So you have probably heard of the Z-Beans brand. Who had Z-Beans coffee today? Okay, all right, love that. Love that your energy is, I can tell because you've been smiling and nodding with me all day. So the coffee works. So the Z-Beans brand is a really great story of Mercer. If you haven't heard it, ask the president. He would love to tell you about Z-Beans. And then Cake It for Chloe. Chloe is actually a rising senior. She has her own bakery. Well, originally it was a bakery and now it is more than a bakery. Now she actually has her own cake mixes that she sells all across Middle Georgia. Her niche, her specific area is that she has a gluten allergy. So all of her cakes and all of her baking are gluten-free. And so she's actually starting to explore different ways that she can offer vegan options as well. I know we had a vegan student earlier, so she's exploring that market now. So really great examples there. A large part of the university's mission is research. I think a lot of students and families don't necessarily come into the business school thinking, oh, I'll do research. It's kind of like this hidden gem, but there's a lot of research that goes on over here as well, and a lot of different opportunities. I love Sammy's example because she's a student that came to Mercer never thinking she would do research. She was a marketing major, but as she got into her major and as she added in this minor, she decided to explore in some research and she absolutely fell in love with it. And so she had the opportunity to not only do 2 different research projects, but also present those projects. One of the ways that the university does this is, one, we actually can help pay for you to go and present your research at national conferences, which is pretty fantastic, either with a faculty member or on your own. There's also a way for you to earn academic credit for this research. Sammy did that, so her research was part of a course that she did with an instructor. But then last but not least is Bear Day. The university closes for a day, they cancel my class and I send you on. It's not a free day to sleep in, but it's a day for you to actually go and learn about the research that is taking place. I always love it because the students are dressed up and ready to present, and I go in like I know what they're talking about and ask them very challenging questions. I don't know what you're talking about. I read the presentation board.
And I'll say this, both of my daughters had opportunities to do this at their institutions. My oldest, in her very first job interview, the first thing they asked about was her undergrad research. She had had the opportunity to go to a student conference and present her material. It was the very first thing they asked about on her resume.
So you're talking about one of my favorite things. Parents, family members, who here has employed or worked with a Mercer graduate? Okay, wonderful. For those of you that didn't raise your hand, talk to me afterward. I'll be happy to talk to you about recruiting opportunities. But I recently came back from a conference and we were talking about NACE studies, so now Association for Colleges and Employers, and they did a study on the top skills that they're looking for in early employees. What do you think those top skills were?
Communication.
Communication, that was number 3. Yes, absolutely. Specifically, what kind of communication?
Interpersonal.
Written, actually. There's a huge gap in how early employees or our entry-level employees actually rank themselves with their writing and how employers are ranking them. There's a massive difference there, which is why I'm a huge fan of our writing courses. So, communication, what do you think the other top 1 and 2 will be? Experience. So that takes me to a whole nother point, but yes. So there has been a massive drop. Only 40% of employers will even use GPA in their decision-making for screening candidates. Only 40, that's a massive drop in what they used to be. Instead, they're replacing it with experience. So the other top 2 are going to be teamwork. Jacob, did you work in a team to do your presentation?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Did you have much in common with that team before you started?
I mean, probably, but my teammates probably, we were around each other a good bit, but I never like went out of my way to like become friends with them. But they probably kind of brought us together.
You had to learn to
Yeah.
like them and work
Yeah.
together, right? And then the other one is that problem-solving skills. And so things like research, Mercer on Mission, these courses are going to expose you to all 3 of those: teamwork, problem-solving, and communication, both written and interpersonal. So Mrs. Terrell talked to you earlier about the experiential component of your degree. Every student is required to do this in the business school. The most common option that students choose is the internship because employers are using that as a major decision factor for their hiring process. We have internship class. Notice I say internship class, not just an internship. You have to be in the class to be able to use that to satisfy this component. And then Mercer on Mission and Study Abroad. We'll talk about those in a second. Let's talk about the internship course. I did an internship at a different institution. I received academic credit by turning in a log of all my hours. Do you think anyone read that log? Absolutely not. But I got the credit. It was pretty cool. However, problem. First day of my internship, I show up. I was in an unpaid internship at a nonprofit. It was a startup nonprofit. I was so excited for my exposure, and I was told what I was going to be doing. And I show up, and it is not what I was expecting. They want me to be a full-time employee. They're expecting me to work over 40-hour weeks. They're asking me to do things that I have 0 training in. It was very challenging. I had to navigate that on my own. Anyone hear stories like that? This course is different. There is an academic component, so there is a course component of the class overlapped with your internship. So you have an instructor who is coming alongside you to help you navigate and understand and be able to apply these professionalism skills on the job while you're in the internship. So what we like to say, I get to teach you how to be a professional, they can actually put you to the real work. The internship supervisors aren't having to teach you basic things like how to open your email, how to respond to an email. We can handle those things on the side so that way you're really gaining that experience on the internship. So my favorite thing about these pictures up here are, these are some of my interns right now. I have about 50 interns all across the world. We've had students in Canada, we've had students in China, you name it. Because in the summer, it's an online class. You don't have to be here in Middle Georgia. We have students at Colony Bank, Amazon. Martin is one of my favorites to shout out because Martin actually met with the governor's office. The governor's office came to my class and talked about their internship opportunities. And Martin said, hey, I'm only a sophomore, can I do that? And the governor's office loved that. And so for that reason, he's actually up in Atlanta interning with the governor's office right now. So the second option, to fulfill that experiential component of your degree is studying abroad. Anyone interested in studying international business? International business is required to get on the plane and study abroad as part of theirs. So study abroad is a great opportunity to expose yourself to not only problem solving, right? What do you do when your flight changes? What do you do when your bags get left? Great problem solving skills there, but also global competency, building that competency as well. The dean would say, if you want to study abroad, start that process early. I would challenge that to her face and say, even if you have 20% interest, go ahead and start exploring. Go ahead and talking and making that aware. Talk to Lauren, my graduate assistant. She studied abroad, and let Mrs. Terrell know. It is easier for us to say, oh, never mind, rather than senior year going, okay, how do we build this in, right? Each year, our study abroad office is phenomenal, and they offer a study abroad fair where you get to go and talk about different programs. Mrs. Terrell's favorite thing about study abroad is it sometimes can be more financially affordable than just staying on campus, depending on how your financial aid comes. So for your family members that say, oh, you can't do that, it's too expensive, we would challenge and say, no, not necessarily. So definitely look into that. Don't let that be a barrier for you.
We do have grants.
Mhm.
Business majors are the #1 recipients of one of our specific study abroad grants, and it's because I tell them to go apply for it. So
We actually bring the study abroad office to 202. So we have a captive audience, an opportunity for you to get to talk to them.
So you mentioned they have to have the international marketing fund.
So international business, our majors are required to study abroad if they major in international
But
business.
if you wanted to study abroad and you were not,
Then that can satisfy that experiential component of your degree.
most of the people that study abroad are not international business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And go big or go home, do all three. You can do Mercer on Mission, study abroad, and internship. Nothing's keeping you from doing all three of those. In fact, we do have students that do that. Great question. Would you like to talk about the Rwandan Mercer on Mission real quick?
Sure. So I left May 13th, got back June 5th. I actually went with Dean Petherbridge and another professor from the Atlanta campus who was born and raised in Rwanda. We were there, we worked with 2 separate nonprofit organizations that we taught. The first nonprofit organization was we taught women, like single mothers, how to kind of create and run a business so they can have a steady stream of income. And then for the second nonprofit, it was students at a local college, and we taught them how to do business stuff, and we did financial plans, business plans, marketing plans, and all that kind of stuff, and we walked them through it and taught them how to do it, and then they did presentations and everything like that, and they got a certificate from Mercer and everything like that.
Fantastic. And then our other program is our South Africa program. Students in faculty go, this year they partnered with the accounting faculty, and they helped Streetscapes, which is a company that provides opportunities to those that are do not have housing, to actually run a community garden, to be able to help fund, get these individuals off the streets, and also be able to help feed their community. So really great opportunities as well. From an employer standpoint, sorry, that's the lens I'm always looking at. Think of that story, right? That first interview you're in, and you're asked, what was the most interesting part of your time at Mercer, and for you to talk about that impact you had on the women in Rwanda. So very amazing opportunities. Did you study abroad as well, Jacob, or did you Mercer on Mission?
No, I just did a couple internships.
Couple internships, how many?
2.
Two. Go big or go home. So we've already talked about the competitions. There's many great opportunities from sports marketing to our student management investment fund to our entrepreneurship pitch competition. A lot of really great ways for you to be able to partner with faculty, partner with teammates, and to be able to compete at not only a local level but a national level as well. We had also talked about how a great part of your experience at Mercer is not just in the classroom, not just abroad, not just with faculty, but with your peers. It's why I was asking you all these questions about each other. It's great that I know that you love football, but you were able to identify some others in the room that were also football fans. And so finding those interests that you have in common can lead to opportunities such as being involved in clubs and organizations. I'll share with you a statistic I learned while I was at my conference. Students that are involved in a club or organization within the first 5 weeks, it actually directly impacts how they feel involved on the campus. So don't wait, don't say, well, I'll become involved in a club or organization my junior year when I'm settled. Don't do that. Get involved as early as possible, and even if you just explore different clubs or organizations. We have lots of really great opportunities within the business school to look at, but at Fair at the beginning of August, you'll actually be exposed to all the clubs and organizations and get free food and like t-shirts and swag and stuff. So might as well go ahead and get your pins for the year, okay? So lots of really great opportunities, not only across the university, but here in the business school. My favorite one is this Minorities in Business, because this organization did not exist when I started here. This was one singular individual that said, I would love to be able to offer this, and since then it's grown into one of our bigger programs here in the business school. So part of what I get to do is not only work with students and helping you be able to build your career portfolios and talk about your experiences and explore opportunities, but I also get to work with employers. So I get to bring employers here on campus. The business school actually has over 70 to 80 different career opportunities, events that we offer each year, which for the university is a good 1/3 of what the entire university offers. So I will say, these are not employers that I just like to hang out with. These are employers that you have told me you wanted to connect with. So if there is a company or organization or topic that you want discussed, come and chat with me. We will directly build that into our programming for the year. Anyone interested in accounting and finance? No accounting or finance? All right, online folks, if you are interested in accounting or finance, mark your calendar for September 16th. One of our larger events will take place on that day, specifically for accounting and finance. All right, last but not least, there are many different great programs that we have designed here at Mercer that were a direct response to a student telling me, I can't go to executive forum because I don't have a blazer. Challenge accepted. So we started the Bear Blazer Closet. We have a rental program here on campus where we can rent you a blazer. Whether you forgot it at home or it's dirty, that's not an excuse to be able to come and take advantage of these. So we have professional closet here on campus. Well, Ashley, I can't get an internship in the summer because I can't drive to Atlanta and all my employers are in Atlanta. Challenge accepted. We offer discounted housing on our Atlanta campus. When I say discounted, I mean $400 for the entire summer. You're paying the cleaning fee, that's all you're paying. And then at the very top, Ashley, there is funding for research, but I want to go to a professional organization, or I want this micro certification, but I can't afford it. Great, we have a professional development fund where you can apply for up to $500 in funding to go toward that. So if there's a barrier you face, challenge me with it. We can probably come up with a program to knock that down for you. My turn. Yep.
All right, so, same words that we saw at the beginning: prepared, purposeful, empowered. I hope after seeing all the information information, hearing about all the opportunities that you're gonna have here at Mercer as a bear, you now have a better understanding of how 4 years from now, you will definitely be prepared for what comes next in life. That is always our goal. We love having you here, but we know that our job is to prepare you for life after Mercer University. So you're gonna be prepared. You are gonna learn from each other. One of my favorite things about working at Mercer are my students. And you will be probably the typical Mercerian. You were very active in high school, you were very involved, you were very driven, very motivated. You will be the same way at Mercer University. However, I love that our guys work together. They challenge each other, they support one another. When someone's challenged, when someone is struggling in a class, I have heard them in the hallway say, I've heard upperclassmen say to lowerclassmen, hey, I've already taken that class and I did well. I would be happy to help you with that class. I've heard students in the hallway talking and helping one another, and so I love that about our students. This is a slide that the dean was talking about early on. This is all of our contact information. So if you ever need to get in touch with us, we are here, we are available. Parents, who in here, I mean, very quickly, I know we're short on time, but you can go ahead and stop probably. How many of you are doing this